Okay, welcome back to Nerd Shack. Today we're looking at something a bit different, a bit more interesting. It's probably not going to involve too much heavy lifting, hopefully, but this is it. So, this is an airbag module, or the airbag module from my car. I've gotten a bit into doing some car work recently. I've got quite an old car, if you can't tell by the general state of this. And it's got to the point where it's, economically questionable to continue going to garages and getting mechanics to do work. So I'm trying to do more stuff myself. And this year I had a fairly simple couple of bits to do, but in the process of that, this threw up a code. All the oil came out, which was quite scary, but it's now fixed. And then there was a load of miscellaneous electrical issues that appeared, which were a ground fault. So I've resolved everything now. The only thing left is this. This has actually picked up a permanent code that can't be cleared, B1001, which is just a generic internal error code. But apparently it can be caused by kind of low voltage. If you've got a dying battery and the voltage goes low enough, this can log it as a permanent fault. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it because I haven't been in a crash. So we're going to try and get rid of that code. In theory, from what I've read, there's a microcontroller, 8-pin microcontroller on the board in here. And it may be as simple as reading and then writing back to that. We may have to give the dump to someone to try and clear the code before we write it back, but I'm hoping that will work out. My initial concern is actually getting into the thing. As you can see, there's no screws anywhere. We've got this sort of top and bottom plate, which I assume are held in here somehow. This is some sort of crimp or, some sort of press fit thing. But the actual body of the thing looks like a solid piece of metal with the plastic connectors on the end. And I haven't been able to find online anyone talking about how to open this style of module. If you search for opening airbag ECU, that kind of thing, you'll find videos and stuff of people doing it, but they're all ones that are just screwed and or glued. And it's usually like a whole plate comes off one side. This is definitely not that. So I have tried putting a pry tool in underneath these plates and just lifting a bit to see if anything budges, but they seem really firmly attached. So one thing I did see mentioned somewhere is these little depressions on the sides. That may be a press. The electronics is slid in and then this is pressed to hold everything back. And you can see there's a seal of some sort, a rubber seal, if you can just see the red on the corner. So I think we need to defeat these and the whole thing will just slide out. Question is, how do we defeat those? Yeah, it's a good question. As you can see, I did have a go with a pry tool on this end and just snapped the plastic off the end, but I don't think we're going to be able to avoid that. If I'm right, we're going to have to break the plastic off these ends to get a tool down. So I'm just going to break that plastic off again, first thing, because it's not really glued very well. So you can see now that seal, rubber seal, and if I can move it out of the way, there is actually a gap. So I'm wondering if we can just slide in like that. Do I have another pry tool here? Of course I don't. 1 second, let me find more pry tools. Look, 2 more. So I think that, yeah, we should be well underneath that. So So now we kind of need to do the same the other end and hope everything just kind of moves. This is very, you know, Hail Mary kind of stuff. There are professional companies that will do this for you. You can post your unit off to them, and they will clear the codes and send it back to you. I did contact one of them because this unit wasn't on their sort of supported list. So I did contact to ask if they could work on it and haven't had a response. So I've decided we're just going to try and do it ourselves. Ew, that's gouged the metal. That's not what I was expecting. Huh, how are we going to get this end off then? Without completely annihilating it. Oh, I kind of want it to move a bit just so I know I'm doing vaguely the right thing, but not going to play ball, is it? Yeah, you can see there's a guide there. You're not going to be able to see that, I don't think. Let's make that a bit bigger. Yeah, you can just see down here there's a guide here, so that's going to be where the circuit board's running. That's going to be a guide for the PCB. I really think I'm right, it's just how. See, I would suggest that they probably, this is designed to not be opened, right? So screw it, let's just go for broke. I don't know what a professional repair outfit would do other than that, because there's no gaps, there's nothing. You can't get tools in there. Let's try and take that little burr I put on the metal off as well. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's try and ram a pry tool down here then. Okay, what do I do now? Oh, now I have a tool stuck in both ends of it. We're just snapping plastic all over the place. I mean, it could be glued in as well, but that's kind of an issue because I have no idea where the glue would be. Where do we go from here then? So yeah, it's interesting. I can move it. Like the pry tool seems to move quite freely. I feel like it did look like it was moving a tiny bit there. Okay, I'm going to continue playing, and I'll come back if there is any progress, I guess. Whew, okay. YouTube, guys. I think we're there. You can see I've ended up with Pro Tools jabbed in the top as well. I ended up looking up this part by the part number here, and there's a bunch of other part numbers that are suitable replacements. So I was looking at all of those. Quite a lot of them look similar, but I've seen them. Need a new pair of gloves. A lot of the others have this same label but don't have this top plate. They still have the bottom plate but not the top plate. It's just the label on top of the casement. And you can see that along the top here there's 3 more sort of press fits, crimps. So I ended up just trying to lever a pry tool in under here, and I think hopefully it has moved out a bit. Might have to get I had a pry tool in the bottom as well, and maybe crimps down here as well. We'll find out when or if it actually moves. But if we jam a tool in there, oh, it was moving. It was moving so nicely. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Are we clear? Yes. Look at that. Beautiful. So, yeah, we can now see there are more press fits up here, and yeah, there are 3 in the bottom as well. So we did need to effectively go around all sides of the board, all sides of the casement. So, holy crap. I don't know. The seal actually still looks in good condition given how much I've been reefing on it, but I don't know. I might just silicone around it or something. I mean, we haven't got the plastic here to retain it anymore, so. And yeah, there's the clip I broke. So that's where the crimp on the side sits. Yeah, and there's one here too. And yeah, these holes along the bottom, presumably. Wow, okay. I wonder if, before I put it back together, we could actually file off those crimps, just so we don't have to worry about it again. You can see at the side ones, where I jam the pry tool in and was then just wiggling it back and forth, it's somewhat flattened the crimp. So we can probably do something about that on the others. But right, what have we got here? I'm assuming that little 8-pin there is going to be our microcontroller. That's upside down. That is a 25160N. So yes, I think it is. 1 second. Just look that up. Right, I'm going to get my programmer and we're going to see if we can get a read off that microcontroller.
So I was able to take a dump from this EEPROM without too much difficulty using a CH341A. I think it's 341, might be 314. I can never quite remember. Regardless, it needed to be sent off to some kind folks on the internet who have access to expensive professional software that can clear these error codes. And so we're looking here at a diff view of those 2 binary files just to see what's changed. The first thing that caught my eye, at the top of the file here, you can see we've got the device model and serial number. And if we scroll down now to what's actually been changed, you see it's only a few bytes. But I'm assuming this whole region of zeros and Fs is probably all for storing fault codes. So all that's left now is to write this back to our EEPROM, put everything back together and go and connect this to the car again. I'm not going to draw out the end of this video, just show you this image and tell you that everything is now fine, and it's been a few months, everything continues to be fine. In the end, I did file down the press fits in the case so that it's much easier to get in and out. It's kind of, the PCB is kind of held in by the clips at the very bottom of the case. So I'm not too worried about it falling apart. I also ran a bead of silicone around the face of it to kind of seal those connectors again. So hopefully this will continue to work for years to come. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you again in another video.